With 2024 coming to an end and 2025 coming soon, I thought it would make sense to kind of do a few videos to where I talk about my favorite things from 2024, as well as my most anticipated things of 2025. And one of the things that I think is, something that I should bring up, because I do a lot of figure reviews and talking about figures and everything, is talking about my top 10 figures that I am looking forward to next year. Now, just to make it simple, I'm not going to include any Funko Pops in this video. I will be including one Nendoroid because I like Nendoroids and I just want to bring up one. But I'm also going to try to differentiate. I'm not going to do all Frieren figures, even though there's a lot of Frieren figures that I'm looking forward to. There are going to be a few Frieren figures on this video because that's one of my most collected things. But there are, other figures that are going to be announced. These are really only figures that have been announced between now and like June. So obviously from July to December, there's going to be many, many more figures that'll probably be really good, but we just don't know about them yet. And this list is obviously biased because it's stuff that I'm into. If you're into a series that I'm not, then you're probably going to look forward to a figure more than I would. So that's probably going to influence your opinion on something. So anyway, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about my top 10 most anticipated figures of 2025. Starting off, let's talk about a Frieren figure, and one that I have had pre-ordered for quite a while, and they have kept delaying it, and seemingly it comes out in January, but they said it was going to come out in December, and it still hasn't. I don't know what's up with it, and that's the Mitsuri from Demon Slayer Frieren figure. So this Frieren figure is kind of unique because it's kind of like Lum here. It's not a bunny figure, it's her actual outfit, and it looks really nice. Hopefully, it looks really good. There has been a Rengoku and Tengen quarter scale Frieren figure similar to this one that has already been released. I think the Tengen one looks pretty good. I'm not a big fan of the Rengoku one, so I'm very optimistic that the Mitsuri will look very good. Don't know why it's been delayed so many times. Hopefully that is not something that continues, and hopefully it comes out very soon. But yeah, I think that one looks really good. Let's mix it up and do a 7th scale figure. And actually we're going to do a set of 7th scale figures, and that is from Girls Band Cry, which is an anime that came out last year, or this year, 2024. And it is one that kind of went under the radar for a lot of people. I mean, it wasn't available on streaming for a long time, and finally it was, and I just now got around to checking it out, and it is amazing. And I have pre-ordered all 5 of the set of them. I really think this is a good looking set. One thing that I will criticize Bocchi the Rock, that series, is that there is so much potential for really good figures out of that series. And there's only been a couple of them that I really think are worth getting. None of the pop-up parades look that good to me, and only a few of the scale figures look good. I don't really get the idea of making a series like Bocchi the Rock, where it's a band, and you can make a really cool band setting, and then you make all of them just sitting there, just in their regular outfits, not playing their instruments or anything. There's a few of them that look really good. Most of them are not. But with Girls Band Cry, we haven't got that many figures. Seemingly we only get these 5 and some plushies and some acrylic stands. But these 5 figures look really good. I like them. It looks like a band photo, and it looks really cool. So I'm really looking forward to these. Another quarter scale figure from Frieren that I want to talk about is the Cafe Goddess Terrace, whatever it's called, set. There's 2 of them that are coming out, and I'm looking forward to these for a unique reason. This series is one that I haven't really got into. I watched like 1 episode. It was all right, and I just never have gone back to it. I want to try to finish it, but it's just nothing that I've been like super quick to get back to. But what made me so interested in these figures is that Frieren early on would do some figures that had clothes, like actual cloth clothing that you could remove. And Binding still does that, which is kind of it's not a sister company, but they're basically, they do a lot of the same things. They do a lot of the removable cloth clothing on these figures, and Cafe Goddess here with these figures are doing the similar thing. They're going to have their like robe thing from the outfit from the cafe, but they're also going to have a like bikini bra thing, lingerie set underneath, which I think could be really good. And I think that's interesting because they've really been sticking to this bunny trend lately, which is fine. I love the bunnies. I'm going to talk about more bunnies here in a minute. But I really like this idea, and I hope they continue to do this. One of my favorite sets, and I've talked about this before, is the Lucky Star set. It's really old, but I'd love to have them, and they have similar things as well. So maybe this is a sign of things to come. That's why I'm buying them, because I want them to make more like this. Let's talk about a pop-up parade. Pop-up parade figures are really hit or miss in my opinion. They can either be really good or they can be really meh. And there's one that I am really looking forward to, and that is Annie, the female Titan from Attack on Titan. She is getting a pop-up parade figure. I will say that the Attack on Titan pop-up parade set has been a mixed bag. And what I really mean by that is we've got Reiner and Eren that got regular pop-up parade figures that are like kneeling and everything, and they look all right, but it's like, why are they kneeling? Then we've got the Colossal Titan, Armin's version, that is standing, but it's a large one, and that's fine if it's just that, but it's scaled wrong, and it really doesn't work standing beside those two. And then what they did was they put Zeke and Annie out now, and those are both large, and they're just standing, so they should be in scale with Eren and Reiner, but probably not. And really, we don't know if we're getting like the Cart Titan, the Warhammer Titan, the Jaw Titan. I would assume we do, but there's no real word on that. It would be really cool if we did. Maybe we get an extra large of Eren's founding Titan. Don't know, but it'd be really cool if we did. But so far, no word on any more past this. So Annie's really the last one here, so we'll have to hold our breath that we get more after her. But I am really looking forward to this figure. Now, I mentioned earlier that there was one Nendoroid on this list, and it is Ubel from Frieren. I really like Ubel. I think she's just a really fun character, and she's getting an Nendoroid. I really like that Nendoroid. I think it looks really nice. I also am a big fan of the Frieren line, other than the chest thing that's got the tongue. I think that kind of looks goofy, but we're getting that as well. Seemingly, we're going to get a lot of Frieren stuff over the next few years from not Funko, Good Smile with the Nendoroid line. So I'm really looking forward to seeing where this line goes. Hopefully they do some really cool stuff and not make more of these chest things, because that's kind of a waste. Now this next figure is one that I am kind of grouping in, and this is representing a few different figures, and that is Mao Mao in her party dress. Now, there is a lot. I don't want to say a lot. There's a couple of the Apothecary Diaries figures that are coming next year, and one of which is this in the party dress. I couldn't decide on which one I wanted the most, or which one I liked the most. There's one of her in a regular outfit and kind of like leaning on this little bench or whatever. Love that one. They're making an Nendoroid of her in her party dress. There is going to be more and more Apothecary Diaries stuff, because season 2 starts in a month, or in a few weeks actually. So there's going to be more and more Apothecary Diaries stuff. So there's plenty to pick from. I just decided this one was my favorite out of the few that have been announced. I have all of them pre-ordered because she's one of my favorite characters. Now the next figure is another pop-up parade. It is the last pop-up parade on this list, and that is Komeko. She is one of my favorite little gremlin characters. I think she is one of the most hilarious characters in Konosuba. I love that she is getting a pop-up parade. I have no idea why they made a large version of Komeko in a pop-up parade, though. Makes no sense, but they did, and now we're getting seemingly a little giant Komeko. It's going to be hilarious. I cannot wait to have this figure, because I think it'll just be the most adorable, absurd little figure, because it could have easily been the little short ones, but they made it a large, and we're getting a cool Komeko figure, so there we go. Now, while the first 7 were kind of in a random order, I really didn't have any kind of thought behind it. These top 3 are in the order they would actually be in. These are the 3 figures I am the most excited for going into next year, and they are a selection of figures, to say the least. In third is Magenta from Gushing Over Magical Girls. I never thought they would make this figure. I thought this was way too much for any figure company to tackle, but they did. And here we go. Don't know how we got to a point to where a figure company was like, we're going to make that before we make really any other figure line or figure from this series. They decided, we've got to make this Magenta. I'm all for it. I want to see how this figure looks, because one thing that I will say, and this is why I kind of have Lum out here, if you notice here, even freeing here, it's hard to tell, but there is a seam on her arm there because it is very, very hard. Toy companies, figure companies, they will all agree on this. It's very, very hard to have a figure that is all skin tone and to not have any seams in it, because you basically have to mold the whole thing in one, or you have to kind of blend those together. It's very difficult to make it look good. This figure has no seams, seemingly, no pun intended, and will it look good? We'll have to find out. It is one of the most curious about a figure I have been in a while, because it basically is a, I don't want to say it is an adult figure, but it's from just a regular, very I don't want to say mainstream, but it's very popular anime. So I'm just very curious about this figure. Number 2 is a 2-figure set, and that is the last Frieren figures on this list, and it is some Frieren bunnies. I haven't really talked about bunnies yet. Here's some bunnies, and that is the Lycoris Recoil set. Love Lycoris Recoil. Really didn't expect that we'd get some from Frieren, so there we go. And I think they look really good in these images here. Now, obviously, these aren't finals, so they can obviously change. They have before, and they will again. Will they here? We'll have to find out. But I do think they look really good in these pictures, and hopefully they will look good in the final product. I think Chisato and Takina here look really good, and I'm a big fan of their characters, so I'm very excited about this too. And number 1. My most anticipated figure of 2025 is one of the last, for now, Rent-A-Girlfriend figures that is on the way. And it is the Chizuru in One Piece swimsuit. I told you, this was a selection. I don't know why, but this figure has been like the one that people talk about, at least every time that we bring up Rent-A-Girlfriend figures. This is the one that gets brought up. And I just think it looks really good, surprisingly. The figure of it and everything, it looks really good. It's one of them that I want to see in person, because all of the images online are like, okay, they went a bit overboard in some of the proportions. Not in a bad way, but we'll see. This is just one that I want to see in person. I cannot wait to have it. It is going to be released in January, seemingly. So it's coming very soon. So we'll have to see if it lives up to those very voluptuous expectations. So that is my top 10 most anticipated figures of 2025. Technically, it's like top 15 because some of those were like pairs or sets, or technically it's top 20 because the Girls Band Cry was 5 figures. But anyway, what is your most anticipated figure of 2025? What is some you have pre-ordered, or what some you would like to pre-order but you haven't yet? Maybe for, you're waiting until after Christmas, or maybe you are just debating on whether it's going to be good enough. Let me know down below. And if you want, this is not the last countdown or top 10 video we will be doing this holiday season. We will also be doing a top 10 figures of 2024. You will actually see them in person. I will show them to you, explain why I like them, why I don't. As well as that, we'll be having the top 10 anime of the year coming very early in 2025. So stay tuned for that. So like and subscribe to see those as soon as I put them out. and many more videos to come, including unboxings of all the figures that I talked about today. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Bye.